about science and all of that, back to the political side, is it possible that because of this allergy that people seem to admit exists, that allergy goes up as you grow and you actually become an editor, and that's the reason you don't want to deal with it, so you go with the top scientists? Is that, no, because we haven't answered one question in this debate. Why is it that there is, in the case of the nuclear issue, that automatically even people who are questioning the establishment in one sense, I mean mainstream media editors, why is it that here there's not that much debate really happening? Is that because that's seen as science even by the top editors, and so they're like, I don't want to touch this, so let's just make the simplest thing to do, and that's the loudest voice, so just put them on? What's going on there?
I mean, I don't think that's necessarily true, but I think it's also this kind of projection of nuclear power as being something very complex. I mean, if I can write about thermal power, I'm not a science background, but I've covered thermal power stations. If I can understand the process by being taken around a thermal power station where I'm explained, even as a non-science person, how it all works, and I've actually gone into a nuclear power station also and tried to understand that. It's not so complex, but I think also because of the link between nuclear power and defense, and therefore nationalism and the prestige of the country, I think that's why the nuclear establishment in particular is placed in a separate category even from other. I mean, like GM is being questioned, transgenic crops are being questioned, there's a debate in the media on it, again not entirely balanced, but at least there is. And somehow I feel really the nuclear issues is in a different category. And I think there is a buy-in by editors on that. So there's a sort of tendency that we don't want to offend. And as I said, I was clearly told by my editor that we need to cultivate. And it was a very strange thing to be told by an editor, because that's not the job of journalists, to cultivate the nuclear establishment. But it's part of that belief that we must not be anti-national. We must not, the nuclear establishment comes into that. You can question 100 other things if you're a mainstream newspaper, but somehow that is in a special category. I really think it doesn't have any connection with science. Sorry, that's my short.
I hope that answer was useful to other people here. Any other questions? Yeah, Samuel, can you introduce yourself?
Kalpana is saying very relevant. Actually, the nuclear issue and the questions on nuclear issue is in a different category. I mean, journalists get into trouble if they go too deep, because the Official Secrets Act is thrown at them.
Correct. Also, yeah.
You can get into jail. I mean, you can get into serious trouble.
And if you ask for your source, I mean, if it is somebody within, I mean, all our sources, when you do a story about the leak, has to be somebody who's working there.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can't give that source, you can't expose that person who's doing it at considerable risk to let you know that such and such incident took place within a plant, where it took place.
Interesting point. So the point that emerged here is that the imbalance or the lack of debate on this issue is not as much because of science per se. I mean, there may be some issues there, but it is also because the way the issue itself is actually linked to the nuclear establishment, to national security, defense, and touch me not, I'm an official secret and all of that. So that's a
And the Atomic Energy Act, if you read it, you realize that it is a case apart.
Alright, Prabhu has a question.
Suppose if somebody is taking up the research, what appears in the local edition, like Coimbatore, Madurai, what you said, the wind energy, it was actually spoken, it was written about, but it never was put onto the, it was put on online, and it never appeared in the main pages. I take up the three newspapers and then see what was covered for those particular 3 days, and then come back to Bangalore and say there's nothing about Kudankulam. So there was some part which was being covered and then put in those local editions, but we also need to refer to those which are not online.
So we're down to the last 5 minutes. Any other questions before I ask them to come back? Oh, thank you. I didn't see. Yeah, this side was blind.
Sir, I'm Suja from IIJNM. And I am born and brought up from Kalpakam, and I live at Kalpakam.
The last person to speak here. Are you saying this? Okay.
So I have a point to add. Media also did not cover one major issue which concerned the safety safety concerns at Kalpakam. A few years back, the nuclear reactor dumped the radioactive waste into the sea, which actually made a threat to the sea life. So this was not covered by any media. So only the people from Kalpakam know this, and nobody else was aware of this. So what do you think? Like, why does media? My question is that is media, supports government? Like, it is telling that we should not come up with the negative points.
I mean, I'm just imagining what would have happened if somebody from Kalpakkam gave that information to a journalist. They would have gone to the establishment in Kalpakkam, who would have said it's all wrong. There's no basis.
Yes,
in fact.
exactly. Actually,
And therefore the word of the nuclear establishment would have been taken as given without actually going to the village or to the area and talking, maybe to the fisher people, maybe they have some evidence of, the damage done. And the story would have run saying, as he showed in this sort of negative thing, maybe there would have been a small item saying there was a fear that there was a radiation leak into the sea, but the establishment in Kalpakkam said there's no basis for it, nothing like that has happened. So for the record, what would remain is that there was a fear, but there's actually thing. Just like the constant reiteration of people are afraid of safety, but actually it's completely safe. So it's this kind of repeat of this. So these are small incidents, maybe, but they're important incidents. But I mean, it actually illustrates exactly what I'm saying. That the belief is that probably it's not true. And even if it's true, it's too small to worry about.
but it concerns a major part of
course it does.
people. It affects major part
And it
of
should have
people.
been a much bigger story.
Yeah. Hopefully you'll do that.
But it was few years back, not
No,
now.
but still, you can follow up.
Follow. Martin has a point.
Most of you were here last time when Paranjoy brought up this point about the media being privately owned. You see, at the end of the day, what we must all realize is that even if the media is the watchdog of society, etc., etc., at the end of the day, they have to clock in profits. Now that's the reason why they don't become anti-establishment. That's the reason why they don't go after what they know is paramount in terms of reportage. And that's the reason why news which is sensational gets played upon over and over again. The fact is that we are as much responsible. Now when you guys pass out as journalists, it is something that you will encounter all the time. I did have something here. I did a small program for Father at St. Joseph's, and I talked about ethics in media. I must possibly remember all the time. Maybe before the program ends, I'll just trace it out because I'm not all that tech savvy with these gadgets. But it just goes to say that there will be people who will constantly manipulate you. There will be people who will give you information in return for personal favors so that you write their part of the story very well. And as journalists, that's going to be your challenge. To find out the facts and have the courage, as Kalpana said, to file in your story. There's no guarantee that the story will ever see the light of day. Honestly. I wrote an article which was published in DNA quite recently on the corruption that is actually eaten into the educational system, particularly in Bangalore. Very few people reacted to it. I never expected them to either. But I luckily have a college which doesn't sack me when I do that. Not that they will encourage it either. But it is a fact. It's not because we don't realize the importance. It is not because the media does not realize or does not have the capacity to find out the truth as he pointed out. It's basically because it doesn't sell. I asked Rajdeep a question. Why is it that we constantly have on television only the worst aspects of India every day? It's like the French Revolution. We're just waiting for the next man to be guillotined every evening. Isn't there anything wonderful about India that you can report? That doesn't sell. Tragedy always does. This is not tragic, it's an embarrassment. The questions have to be asked by us. We need to put some pressure on the media to report. As ordinary people, we are also responsible for this. Because this is what happens in a country where the social conscience is constantly dampened when media becomes completely privatized. There's no doubt about it. You're free to disagree. Thanks.
All right. Can I ask Anupama to do a quick wrap up? I'm getting a little restless here. Will you do the wrapping up? Anupam Avadhoot. Please remember the donation boxes are out there. It's a capital. I am not pointing a gun at people. It's voluntary, but there are costs, and this is a non-funded group. It's voluntary, and we'll do more talks. Thank you.
This has turned out to be a very nice discussion. I think all the sleepless nights we've had over the last 2-3 days, worried about who would come and who would not. I'm happy that it's worked out well. Thank you, Kalpana. Thank you, Roshit. But also thank you to the lovely participation from the audience, the young journalists there, Mr. Narayan, and of course the faculty members as well. But going back to Paranjoy's discussion, one thing that he said, and I remember as a journalist, and I want to tell the students out here, he said, it is the democratic right of every journalist to ask an uncomfortable question as much as it is the democratic right of the person to whom this question is being put to say he doesn't want to reply to you. But that does not mean that you don't ask those uncomfortable questions. So thank you once again, and to reiterate what Subbu said, if you want to keep hearing discussions like this, please make a small contribution. And please do come for our next events and follow our Facebook page, Media Watch Bengaluru. Thank you.